data center is everything that is kind of a cloud. It's a private cloud. It goes up to hyperscale external clouds. It depends where it stands, but it can be external and internal. But in the end, it's just an aggregation of computation power. That's a data center. And let's take a look at our stream in the end, our supply chain of the data center. We have the data center here, and upstream, we're going to look at where the materials are coming from. It's a mining facility. These go through different transportation units to the manufacturing plant. They are manufacturing then the components, which goes then to the data center that finally uses it and provides data computation and storage. We can see here that all of these steps, every single step, are emitting, are polluting, and using resources. So we see the resource we just had at the material flow analysis. We can take at each step a material flow analysis. It as well pollutes the environment. And finally, we have the application that we see here, and that is also the link to the food chain in the end, because the users in the food chain are using applications running on data centers, as we all do in the end. Every movie on Netflix is hosted on a data center. That would be this part. But with the end of service as well, the data computation storage, the components in the end need to get treated somehow. We have a waste treatment facility, e-waste, a big topic right now. I'm gonna zoom in a bit. There are like different approaches to solve, obviously, waste. And there's really a nice movie. I would recommend it. Welcome to Sodom. It describes one waste treatment facility, if I can say that, in Ghana, where they are exporting e-waste from Europe. And in different ways, it all comes in the end again to our environment, and we are in the end, we are the people who decide how we put it in the environment. So why is this also important? I'm just like summarizing some facts here. 54 million tons of e-waste every year. There are like 1,000 laptops every second that are ending up as e-waste. Less than 20% of it getting recycled. You can see here the rise of the e-waste in the last 10 years and the future, 2030. Google, for example, we all know the company, huge in servers, has the greenhouse gas emissions are divided in 3 scopes. In the internal scope, that is what Google really emits themselves. Scope 2 is like what electricity is emitting in upstream of them. And the scope 3 would be all the components they use and everything else like business, travels and stuff like this. But mainly for Google, it would be components they use. So the servers they use and stuff like this. So it's 39% of the greenhouse gases are coming from these scope 3. That's an immense deal, and it's not gonna become less. The global data creation is about to explode as we forecasted. We see us here 2021 here with around 50 zettabytes. Zettabytes is just a number in the end. It's like 1 billion terabytes, and I cannot imagine what that is. But we can see it was 2 zettabytes in 2010, and it will become, that's our all forecasted numbers, an immense amount of 2,142. So just thinking of the rise of the data, we know how much more we have to compute and how much more efficient in the end we have to become in order to not have as well such a drastic rise of input resources and electricity and water usage and whatever. But our data computation units must become way more efficient. Data is a resource. Most data is worthless in the end. Redundant, obsolete, and trivial data, it's called ROT. It's still a part of the discussion, but it is said that it is up to 80% of the business's data. So of each business data, 80% is redundant, obsolete, and trivial. And that means redundant, it is stored somewhere else. Obsolete, it is already old, we don't need it anymore. And trivial, it is so easy that we easily can recreate it. So it's basically really useless. And so because data is a resource in the end, we should treat it as well as a scarce resource, because capacity is not endless. I mean, we kind of think in that way, but capacity is not endless. The cloud is not endless. The cloud is in the end a physical warehouse which is located somewhere. And if we need to store this amount of data somewhere, this as well means so much more space that is occupied. And there are already millions of servers standing outside. We don't want to use more, so treat it as a scarce resource. There I've summarized some problems that we need to solve with data centers, the energy, the materials, and the data that is used, as well as social problems we can address with data centers, the mobility of the employees that work there, or the social welfare, as well as human capital, because data centers are in the end computing our applications and is treating our human capital in the end. So if these applications are designed not well, our human capital, our capacity, our mental load is increasing, and so we can as well decrease or increase human capital in the end with data centers. And the facility itself, land usage, the building, the design of it. Yeah. And the last question is, in the end, the circular economy. Is this a solution? How can data centers operators act more circular, and what would it change in the end? Would it address those issues? Would it solve those issues, and how would it solve it?